Well, hello everybody, and welcome to a snapshot opinion video. Today we're talking about 22W42A, and this is the first snapshot that includes the 1.20 features. So what's interesting about this snapshot is it's officially a 1.19.3 snapshot, but like Bedrock, they now have the ability to turn on experimental features, and I'll show you what that looks like. So when we go into create a new world, and then down here where it says data packs, we have some experimental features. So bundles, which were talked about way back in 1.17, you can play with those. And then some of the new features that are going to be in the 1.20 update, you can play with those. It specifically says experimental features, warning, be careful, and tells you that some of these things are under development. You hit details, it actually talks a little bit about what's going on there. And right before you create the world, it says, warning, these are experimental features and could one day stop working. So it's just trying to be very clear that this is sort of a playground and not meant for a permanent world. As far as changes, one of the first changes you'll notice is in the creative menu. You can see things are kind of grouped together in a different way. And I think it makes a lot of sense where you don't have to go looking for different types of blocks. Instead, they're kind of grouped together by kind. So you get all of your similar materials in one place. They also changed up some of the tabs a little bit. So you can see like the food tab, it's now called consumables, has a carrot on it instead of an apple. We've got a crafting tab. We've got a spawn egg tab. So the transportation tab went away and the potion tab went away. There's a lot they could do with that menu still. I often just use the search to find what I'm looking for, but I think they could implement some pretty simple sorting and stuff like that. We'll see. But I want to give you some opinions on some of the new stuff that they announced for 1.20. Camels can be found in desert villages, and I only found one in this particular village. They pathfind in kind of a silly way. Why is the camel walking over the hay? Their animations are really cool. It's a pretty good design, I think. They're interesting where you can just kind of hop on them. You don't have to tame them like a horse, but if you don't put a saddle on them, then you can't control their direction or anything like that. You're just kind of at their mercy. But if you put a saddle on here, they update the model in a really cool way, and now we can make the camel stand up, and we can kind of move it around. They are a little bit slower than horses. We kind of run along here. That's about as fast as we're going to go on the camel. And then they have this dash option. And the way it works is if you hold the space bar, you'll see this meter kind of fill up. And I think what you want to do is get it as close to the top as possible. Like that. So you can see it kind of fills up, a little bit of a cool down, and then we're back. If you do it too soon, you get a tiny dash. And if you wait too long, it goes to the top and starts to come back down. Like that. I can jump over this here. Yeah, totally could. That's a pretty good jump. You can breed them with cactus, although they still do take damage from cactus, so they're not like immune to cactus. But gives cactus a new feature. You do need 2 of them to breed up though, and I've only found 1 so far, so that might be your only challenge. So camels, I think, are going to be amazing. They add some new mechanics that we've never had before with the dash and multiplayers riding a mob. You don't have to use an elytra to get around all the time. Using a horse or a boat or minecarts or camels, it can change up the game quite a lot. And so I'm glad they're adding things like this in. Another addition is the hanging sign, which I think is a really nice addition. One thing that's been pointed out a lot is you get very few characters. So that's as wide as our sign goes here, 8 characters, where a traditional sign, we get 15 characters. Now it is a little narrower, so I guess that makes some sense. And the text is a little bigger, so there is some justification for that. You could choose one sign over the other as far as how you wanted to use it. This one is crafted with stripped logs, and it definitely looks it. That texture is really, really great. So I'm happy with this. Even though they are very different, they serve different purposes, and I think that is great to have more options. In addition to hanging on the underside of a block, you can hang on the side of a block, is a nice look. And you can hang from a point. When you do it from a point, you can hang them in different slight orientations, which I think is going to be great for decorating. This chain texture, a little goofy to me, but we'll see if they clean that up or not. Otherwise, I think this is fantastic. It comes in all of the variations of the wood, and it looks awesome. And speaking of wood, we've got a whole new wood set. Bamboo, great alternative to birch in my opinion. I feel like we've needed another lighter color wood. Now, bamboo, it's very, very stylized, this texture here, and it's very, very yellow compared to birch. But I think it's going to be really useful. We've got kind of your standard pattern, and then what they call a mosaic. So you get planks in both of those, you get stairs, slabs in both of those. We get, of course, trapdoors, buttons, pressure plates, doors, and fences. I think the door is a really good looking door. I think the trapdoor is a really good looking trapdoor. And the fences, I think, look fantastic. I love that hollowed out kind of look there on the posts. I think it just looks really, really good. To kind of show you what I mean, here we have bamboo and there we have birch. And when you see the two next to each other, much, much more yellow going on over here on the bamboo. And again, with the top texture, this is a little more subtle, where that variation between the dark and the light in the bamboo is much more pronounced. So it's going to be a little bit of a different look. I think this is going to be really popular as an accent block, and I think those fences and the doors are going to work really well in a lot of builds. Some of these all bamboo builds that you've seen in people's thumbnails and stuff, I think it's a bit much. This texture is just way too busy and way too loud to do an entire build, unless you're looking for that sort of thing. You know, like I was saying, as an accent block, it works way, way better. Just to talk about the color for a moment here, if we look at bamboo next to a yellow glazed terracotta or raw gold or yellow terracotta, you can see it's a lot more green than some of these. It's not as golden a yellow, and there's a little bit of this sort of kind of grayish brown in there as well. So as far as leaning into those green colors, you can see like the light green glazed terracotta, the mossy cobble, the green terracotta, they really bring out the green in the bamboo block. There are a lot of blocks in Minecraft that are sort of a teal kind of color or more of a cyan, and this sort of army green, pea green is a little bit more rare, so it's nice to see that in the bamboo block. And then those warmer kind of caramel tones that are in there, you can see some of the same sort of temperature like in endstone or just in your brown terracotta. It goes okay. The mushroom stem has always been kind of a weird white block, and they actually sit pretty nice together. So if you just needed a white block to go along with bamboo, mushroom stems would actually be a pretty good fit. It's not nearly as purple as something like quartz. And then your stripped spruce, again, those greens kind of match up pretty nice, and some of these warmer browns go okay with the bamboo, I feel. One more thing that bamboo introduces is a raft. And for all intents and purposes, it functions just like a boat, but it looks different, which is a really cool kind of thing. I love the theming, again, where you don't have to do this. You know, you don't have to choose to use a raft, but it's a cool look if you want to do that. I didn't realize it during the announcement, but it's actually 2 bamboo thick. I thought it was only 1 layer, so a little more substantial than you thought. But it looks like and acts just like a boat. And of course, there is a version that has a chest in it as well. So bamboo, normal wood, and nether wood all got some new sounds. There's your bamboo. And your normal wood. And your nether wood. They also make different sounds when you walk on them. Pretty cool. Now, I will take any wood set that Minecraft wants to give us, but that being said, bamboo is really overpowered. When you think about like collecting a stack of planks, you might have to cut down a few oak trees and then gather up the saplings, replant them, and you could make a tree farm, but you can't completely automate it. You still need to be involved. Now, when you talk about bamboo, that can be completely automated. You can make a redstone machine that just constantly collects bamboo, and you only need 4 pieces of bamboo to make a plank. So when you think about making chests or bookshelves or buttons or hoppers, bamboo is going to be my go-to wood for all of that because you can get tons of it really easily. And the last thing I want to talk about is the chiseled bookshelf. Terrible name for a block, but a really, really exciting addition to the game. Basically, it is a functional bookshelf. You can take a book out of here or put a book back in. You can put regular books, you can put the book and quill, you can put enchanted books. And what I'm really excited to do is come up with a library where you use these as your book storage. And then you could say these are my mending books. These are the books that I've been writing in, or journals or things like that. And you can actually have a functional library. What's also interesting is, the texture changes depending on how many things are in here. And so you can't tell at a glance what these are. And so you can kind of potentially hide things in this bookshelf. You could also put these in the floor and people wouldn't even really realize it. The top texture is actually kind of nice looking, goes okay with oak. And I love that it's actually like a shelf. It has sides and a top and a back, unlike the old bookshelf, which is just kind of a book pattern on all 4 sides. So this is a really cool, really great addition to the game. I think we need a better name for it, though. I don't have any great ideas, though. If you do, leave them in the comments. We'll let Mojang know. Like any container, it works with redstone, so redstone can determine how full or empty one of these are, and they're really easy to craft. It's just planks and slabs. You don't actually need any books to craft the chiseled bookshelf. They don't work with enchantment tables. You still need the old school bookshelves to make your enchantment table level up, which is probably a good idea. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense, but I get it. And that's pretty much the snapshot so far. I'm pretty excited about the new development path. I'm pretty excited about the possibility of additional features being added in. Again, Mojang said they were only going to show us what was ready to go. And so the features that we've gotten so far with the chiseled bookshelves and the camels and the hanging signs, those are the things that have gone through development and are pretty much polished up. That being said, there's probably some more stuff they're working on, and as we get additional snapshots, who knows what we're going to see, and that's very exciting. We haven't been in that space for a long, long time. Usually we get an announcement, and some of the features take a long time to develop, or don't get developed, and we run into roadblocks. But this time, we got what they promised, and there are so many more things they could add in before this update goes live, which is months away, tons of time. And that's all I've got for you today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you had fun. Please like and subscribe if you want to follow along on the adventure, and I hope to see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.